What up, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're making a beef and broccoli stir fry. You know, this was very spur of the moment. Cause you don't see too many beef recipes and red meat recipes on here, but they had a deal. It was a dilly deal, and I had to do it. This meat it was on sale, and it just was meant to be. And I haven't had beef and broccoli in like so long, but it's gonna be like a little spinny spin on it, for this recipe. I don't think I have a beef and broccoli recipe on here. The last time I made something similar to this was a couple years ago. It was like a beef and broccoli, like a pepper steak and broccoli type of thing, but this is beef. So I just started off by cutting it real thin. This is some Angus beef, boneless boneless chuck. So I just use my very sharp. Well, I have a sharpener, so I can all my knives can be sharp. So I just use my knife and just cut it up real thin. I try to do it as thin as possible, not too thin where like you can almost see through it, but just thin enough because as you can see, it was thick. It was a thick chunk of meat. They were big chunks of meat. Okay, so I just chopped it up how I want it, and I basically just chopped them up into strips, thin strips. I put a little bit of this beef and broccoli stir fry seasoning, a little bit of paprika, a little bit of garlic salt, a little bit of SHAWHAN Farms CAJUN blackened seasoning. I'm used to using SHAWHAN Farms. Okay, I'll have the link in the bio. Get with them. Get you some seasonings. Then I hit it with some soy sauce and some fresh garlic that I minced up. And I did end up adding a few ingredients just because on the back of the packaging of the beef and broccoli, the seasoning packet, it say like when you make the sauce part, which you gonna see me do. It said to combine the packet basically with the soy sauce and water. Basically, I found this. You probably could find this in any store. I don't know, but I found this beef and broccoli stir fry packet at Walmart. And this was me adding the ingredients. I started to add some soy sauce. I added a little bit of rice vinegar, and I added some sriracha chili sauce. Okay, I just wanted to add more flavor, just because it didn't seem like it was enough for some reason. I don't know. The ancestors just moved me, and I love authentic dishes. Whether I'm just making, a Mexican dish, I like to use authentic flavors. And when I'm using or doing Asian, Chinese type flavors or dishes, I like to use their in like authentic products too, because I want that flavor. Like it's like my twist on it. So like me making it my way, but with just still having those authentic flavors. So like a mix. It's like Americanizing it, Black Americanizing it. Anyway, so I just chopped up an onion. This is how I chose to chop it up. And I am using my husk knife. I like to plug in my people whenever they send me stuff. And, I love my knives. I love every time somebody send me a knife, send me a gadget, whatever. I'm going to use it. And I'm going to use it, but I'm going to use it well. I'm going to use it till I can't use it no more. That's how you got to do it. Whenever you get gifts, use it till you can't use it no more. That's the gift. The gift of giving. I mean, the gift of getting the gift. Then I chose to use a red pepper because I'm all about colors when it comes to my dishes. And since I'm using broccoli, this is beef and broccoli, I didn't want to use a green pepper. That's too much green. And although I love green, that's one of my favorite colors, I wanted to do just put off the color basically. So I didn't want to do no green pepper, and I'm already using a green, and broccoli is green. So it was going to be just too much. I wanted the contrast. So I was like, you know what? Red pepper actually is my favorite pepper. But, I will get a green pepper if that's all they got type stuff, But, yeah. It was all about the colors for me. So, since I had a green one, I basically had to use any other. So, basically, it's the equivalent to that. So, if I'm already using something that's the color of the pepper I'm already using, I'm going to just do another color just to contrast it so it could be different. So, I can have like a colorful thing going on. And I don't like it to look plain. I don't like my dishes to look plain. I'm not a plain person. I don't like nothing plain. I don't want it plain. Don't give it to me like that. I like my stuff to have a little pizzazz. That's why I cut everything a certain way. It don't be a plan. I just go with my guts and with my ancestors, and they move me, and we make magic. So I'm gonna put the peppers and onions to the side because I gotta wash my rice. So I'm following the bag, okay? 1 cup of water, or 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water, 2 cups of rice, 4 cups of water. Follow your packaging because that's what I'm doing for the rice. Now I chose to do the 2 cups of water, 2 cups of rice, 4 cups of water. But I usually do the 1 cup because my boyfriend don't really like rice too much. So I wash off your rice until the water runs clean. Okay, wash your rice until the water runs clean, and then go ahead and make your rice. Okay, or if you got a rice cooker, either way, just make sure you wash your rice first. Wash your rice. Okay. Now this is me making that sauce that is said on the back of the packaging with what I have left, because I use some of the seasoning on the meat directly. Not all of it, just some of it. So I use the rest of the seasoning just to make the sauce, because we're gonna be putting this all over the beef and broccoli at the end. Okay, so this is gonna be the topping sauce. So this how it looked at first, just me adding the soy sauce and the water. But you know me, I have to add a little bit more. So I ended up adding a little bit of sriracha chili and some rice vinegar, just to kind of help thicken it up a little bit, because it wasn't giving. Okay, it wasn't giving. This is the rice done. Okay, we got the rice done. Everything just getting done at the same time. Okay, so yeah, the rice got done, and I had to go ahead and cook the peppers and onions, and I cooked the meat last, because the peppers and onions was gonna take the least amount of time to cook. So I just made sure I cooked the meat last, because I like to have my meat tender, and I just never know how long it's gonna take, because I didn't want to cook it on a high heat and it burn or get too tough, because that can happen when it comes to chicken breast and when it comes to cooking beef and steak. You can't cook it tough if you cook it for too long. Okay, and we don't need that. We don't do tough. We do tender. That's the only T I like my food to have. Tenderness. Okay, so it's gonna be a lot of covering, and I just covered it until they look like this. Okay, I'm cooking everything separate so everything can have individual flavor. Okay, and the broccoli is not fresh. I steamed that because all I had was frozen broccoli. You could use fresh broccoli if you want to, but if you do, cook it with the peppers and onions. Okay, add a little water, cook it with peppers and onions. Or you can cook it, like I said, with individual flavors. So you can just cook it, saute it in the skillet, put a little water in it, let it steam a little bit, season it. I just steamed some broccoli. Okay, I just kept it real simple. That's all I had. That's what I did. This is an easy peasy recipe. Nothing too major. Okay, nothing too major. So then I took the peppers and onions out the skillet, and I added the meat. Now the meat, basically, it marinated for about an hour. I let it marinate for an hour. If you could let it marinate, like I usually say this too. If you could let it marinate overnight, that would be just fine. That'd be a good thing, because the longer it marinates, the longer the seasoning sits, the longer they have time to become one with that meat. And that's what we want. Okay, that's what we need. We want the flavors. It's all about the flavors. Drop a comment. Is it all about the flavor? I can't even get my words out. Is it all about the flavors for you? Because it is for me. Okay, drop a comment if you new. Drop a comment and say, hey, just drop a comment, like, subscribe, and share. Make sure you follow me on all platforms. Okay, follow me everywhere. Make sure. We trying to grow. We trying to build. 20K, we on the way. I'm trying to let me get to 10K on here, but I'm gonna keep posting. I know I will be great. I know his page is going to be great. This channel is going to be great. And I can feel the greatness within my bones and my veins. So we just on our way to the top. I'm just waiting on the world to catch up. That's all I say. I'm just waiting on the world to catch up to my greatness that I done placed on this world. So enjoy the ride, because we're on the way to the top. So I went ahead and cooked the meat, and I just cooked it to my liking, cooked it to my tenderness. Once it got browned, that's when I started to, taste it. Because like I said, you don't want this to get too tough. This on like a medium heat. This ain't too high, okay? Nothing too crazy. Because like I said, we don't need that. So I just poured a little bit of that sauce we made. Just a little bit, because I'm going to pour the rest of it on there once I add everything into this dish, okay? So just the beef part, I added a little bit of the sauce. Stirred that up, stir it up real good. And then I'm basically just gonna start adding everything one by one. So once I got the meat to my liking, we're gonna add in the peppers and the onions, and then we're gonna add in the broccoli that I steamed. Okay, I had to add a little paprika because I like a little melanin. I prefer melanin. You need a little melanin when it comes to beef and broccoli. It needs to be brown. Okay? If you want it browner than that, that can, I've seen it browner than this. But I just do what I do, how I do it. Okay? And this ain't, I ain't following, this ain't no authentic recipe. This is just me going with the flow, That rhymed. But yeah, for real, just going with the flow. So then this is me starting to add everything in, the peppers and the onions, and then I'm gonna add that steamed broccoli in. And at that point, you're gonna need to season the taste and make sure it's up to par. Okay? Seasoning to taste is what we're doing, and that's what we need. So make sure you do that. And yeah, once you do that, it's gonna be great. Because as you add everything in, the seasoning starts to fade, for some reason. It starts to kind of like go away a little bit. So you're going to make sure that the seasoning is right. Make sure it's tight. Make sure you got it. Just make sure you got it right, okay? Make sure you're tasting, and we're going to add the rest of the sauce on there. This is at this point, everything done. So you're just tasting as you go, making sure the whole thing tasting good, okay? Get you a nice spoonful of everything just to make sure them flavors is meshing well, okay? We got to make sure it's right before you feed this to anybody. We did, so you can top it with, like when you serve it, of course I put this on a bed of rice, but when you serve it, you can of course top it with more soy sauce if you want. We kind of made a sauce, I kind of made a sauce. I made it out of like a yum yum sauce, but I did mayo, a little bit of Valentina hot sauce, Mexican hot sauce, some sriracha chili, and some sweet chili. And I just stirred that up, and yeah. Or you could just do sweet chili sauce by itself, drizzle that on top, or just sriracha sauce on the top, drizzle that. Like, either way, the yum yum sauce, a little bit of mayo, a little bit of sriracha, and a little bit of sweet chili. You mix that up, and you got some goodness. But of course, it's not even too spicy. Even with all that hot stuff, it's not even too spicy for my non-spicy people. It's not, the sauce won't be too spicy. But I'll put everything in the description box for you. So make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know if you make this, Make sure you follow me on all platforms.